Agenda item number 4, hearing regarding the violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, service to a minor, November 24, 2016, at the Clash of the Ash, 1464 Hancock Street. Bernard Connaughton, manager, attorney Lou Cassis. Before I have Detective TUROWSKI read his report, I know that myself and Mr. Cassis have had a few conversations, so I'm not the one who makes the deals, the board makes the deals, so why don't you tell us your proposal here and we'll go from there.
Members of the board, as you know, that we had a hearing, you revoked this license on a prior violation. We had a hearing at the ABCC, I think it was November, and at that time, my plea to the commission was basically Mr. Connaughton's establishment was guilty, but I was looking for a different penalty than revocation. So if I'm successful there, all I can really hope for is a suspension as opposed to revocation. Since that time, there's been this new violation. And as I said to you yesterday, I advised Mr. Connaughton, following the ABCC hearing, to try to sell the place because I thought that in the long run, he was probably going to lose, at some point, going to lose this license if he didn't try to sell it. And he has been doing that. And he's been able to come to an agreement with an individual as of yesterday that he would sell the bar to an individual who's got some experience and obviously have to come before you, get vetted by you, and make sure that he was the appropriate person to run the place. In the meantime, what I'm asking you to do is to continue this matter for a short period of time to let us get an application in front of you. And I know that, I talked to Cindy this morning, and I think the cutoff for the Sun is tomorrow.
Yes.
It's going to be, I'm going to try to get an ad in by tomorrow. I don't know if that's possible, but what I'd like you to do is, the next hearing is the 24th, I believe?
Yes.
Continue this for one hearing, and I explained to Mr. Connaughton, it's not going to be, I don't think you're going to say yes to that without him conceding something else. And my proposal is that if we don't have an application in front of you, or in front of the board, not in front of you, but at least filed, and something really going, that he will voluntarily close until such time as he's able to sell the license. It's a lot easier to sell a license that's operating than it is to sell a license that's closed. I think people might get the impression that if they wait long enough, they won't have to buy it. They'll have different alternatives. So what I ask you to do is put this over for 2 weeks. Let me get some diligence going with the new buyer, his attorney, hopefully get an ad in the paper tomorrow, but if not, get an application filed. And if not the 24th, at least the next meeting, have a hearing on a transfer. And if we don't have a buyer with an application filed by the 24th, he'll voluntarily close until such time as he's able to sell the license.
So I have a couple of questions. My first concern is, so let's say we give you the stay till the 24th, and 3 days from now we hear from the ABCC that the revocation has been upheld by the ABCC. Now you don't even have a license to sell.
If you give us the stay to the 24th, I will call the ABCC tomorrow and ask them if they'd be willing to hold their decision until such time as we resolve this. If not, let it go. I mean, that can work either way. Either if I lose, it's revoked, and if I win, it's not revoked. So I think both parties are probably in an equal position on that. I think they would do that given the circumstances. Even if I were to lose at the ABCC, there's still a right to appeal to the Superior Court.
Absolutely.
So not that I want to do that, because that's just time consuming, it's costly, and it's, who knows what will happen. So I would probably ask them to stay their decision pending the 24th. And if we don't have anything going by the 24th, I tell them if his decision is ready to be written, go do it. Either way.
Board members have any other comments or questions?
I'd like to hear Peter's report.
Okay, this is.
So if we do that, then we're probably going to have to rule on.
Yeah, I don't want to introduce any evidence until we've made the decision to hear it today. So
That's my suggestion.
okay.
I mean, I've read the report. I mean, it's an alleged sales of a minor, very similar to
I haven't heard
before. Yeah, and I'd only point out, I think I may have the two cases mixed up, but one of the cases, I think it might be this one, is this guy a month away from, he was a month away from being 20. He was a month away from being 20. Not that that's a defense, but
Well, there will be one going to ABCC.
No, when you try to mitigate the circumstances, it's a little different than serving a 16-year-old, but that's. So what my proposal is, give me 2 weeks to put this together, and if we can't put it together, we'll close. Until such time as it's sold, or we can't sell it till you want to act again.
So, let's say that let's say you win the appeal, okay? So it comes back here, and instead of us giving you a suspension, we roll back your hours.
You'd have to, I think you have to give me a new notice.
We would give you a new notice.
Yeah, you would have to give me a new notice.
Yeah.
I don't think, I could be wrong. I don't think you can act on the old one with new notice.
No, if they send it back to us for reconsideration is what I mean.
Yeah.
Not that they say, you know what, maybe we think the revocation was too harsh. We want you to go back and
do something different.
Reconsider it. We could still revoke it again and make them say yes or no.
I think what's likely is that they would ask you to suspend the license for a period of time. The only reason I say that is in order to roll back hours, it's got to be, it's a whole different standard of public need. You know, you get a new notice, new hearing, where there's a public need to decrease the hours, that kind of thing. I don't know.
Public safety.
Yeah, I don't know if that, I mean, and you can do it. I just don't think that's, you could do it on this case. I mean, you wouldn't even have to. You could suspend it on the old case if you wanted to. You give new notice on this case and roll back his hours.
But we're getting a little far afield. What we're looking for, what you're looking for is 2 weeks essentially,
right,
to try and get your affairs in order so you can exchange the business with somebody else. And if that happens, then all well and good, and we'll take a look at it on the 24th, and if it's a suitable candidate, obviously we go forward with it.
Or on February 7th, depending upon when I get the ad in and all that.
Okay, so that would be the extension.
Yes.
But at that date, if there is a sale in place, he'll shut down?
When I propose,
or if there's no
here's
sale
what I
in
propose.
place.
If we don't have a viable buyer or an application filed, we'll close voluntary on the 24th.
For?
Till such time as we have a buyer or until such time as you act. If we have an application, I would ask that we just keep it open until you approve the new owner, which will probably be February 7th. It have to be February 7th, and then let it go its course. I think the new owner's going to want to close to renovate anyway. So what I'm going to ask them to do is tell them, look, if you're serious and you want to file an application and you don't mind, because I don't think you would, you're going to renovate anyway, pick a date we're going to close and close down and start your renovations.
Okay.
So the only thing I'm asking you to is, if you go to the 24th and we have nothing going, we'll close.
Okay.
Board members, any other comments?
So you're just looking for a continuance, essentially.
Anybody, any other questions, comments, concerns? Are we all in agreement? Oh, we don't have to all be in agreement, but do we understand what, are we going to get a motion from someone on?
Yeah, I'll make a motion just to continue it for the 2 weeks, and then we'll reevaluate it in the 2 weeks with the stipulations.
Okay.
I mean, we can always, at that point,
Yep.
hear the next case and make a determination on that. So
right.
I don't think we're in a bad position here.
What I would agree with what you're saying is, if I don't have an application in front of you, you go forward on the 24th and here, do whatever
Right.
you want to do.
Essentially, so you're just looking for 2 more weeks.
My only question would be, is this 2 weeks binding of Mr. Connaughton? Can he change attorneys and change his mind?
He better not.
Well, he can, but there's a new charge pending, and I think the outcome of the new charge, I've reviewed the evidence, I've reviewed the reports, and they're significant, so I don't think we're in a bad position, so I don't think there's any way he can just change.
I don't think there's a lot of options.
Yeah. I don't think so either. Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, regarding the violation of Mass General Laws 138, Section 34, service to a minor, November 24th, 2016, at the Clash of the Ash, 1464 Hancock Street, represented by Bernard Connaughton. I'd like to make a motion to stay that hearing until, and continue it until such, so the 24th of January.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to continue the hearing regarding the violation of Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, to a service to a minor, November 24, 2016, at the Clash of the Ash, 1464 Hancock Street. Bernard Cotton, manager. Attorney Lou Cassis, the representing. I'm just going to do a roll call vote to the continuation. Chief Barron?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yeah. Yes.
Nicole CRISPO?
No.
No. Chief Keenan?
Yes.
Yes, and I'm going to vote yes also. So that is 4-1 to continue the hearing.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.